Here's my advice on how not to get burned out as a coach. Sure, it all has to be done, but it doesn't all have to be done by you. So once you set up some systems in place and you can kind of delegate some of these tasks, then your life gets to be easy. We've all kind of been there, right? We're wrestlers, we want to work hard, but sometimes we lack the organization to say, how can I remove this? So you should make a daily list, a list of things that need to be done daily. Then you circle the things that you can dump off on someone else. You don't need to do the mat tape. You don't need to be rolling out the mats. You don't need to be washing the mats. And you say, well, if I don't do it, it won't get done right. Well, you have to put some systems in place, make sure it does. Maybe your assistant coach can be in charge of supervising and watching, making sure it gets done. Maybe there's 3 kids every day that are in charge of mopping the mats, and they get something special. I don't know. The managers, they can open up your app or your Google Doc and they can type in the results and the scores and the stats. If you're a coach that keeps track of all the statistics, I did not do that when I was a coach, but I realized a lot of people are into that. Either way, secondly, you don't have to go to the booster club meetings. Don't go. I didn't go when I was a high school coach and a principal pulls. I didn't have a booster club the first year. I said, I'm not having one because it's always going to be me and 5 kids and the same 2 parents doing all the work. I know how this game is played. And he's like, oh, you know what? We're at a class 6 high school or at Sam Houston High School. You have to. I'm like, okay, I'll do it next year. I didn't go to the booster club meetings. I think I went to the first one and maybe one more. I put someone else in charge. And I said, hey, I've got 2 kids at home. I coach track. I coach wrestling. I help with softball. I'm not going to go do it. I will tell you what we need, and you decide what is most important. We'll communicate. And if you guys want to go buy knee pads and headgear for the team, okay, you figure it out. And I'll share the communications with the parents and the kids. But I'm not going to be running the booster club. I'm not going to go to the meetings. I'm not going to be going to Walmart, to sell candles or cookies on a Sunday. I'm not doing it. That's the booster club's job. And you can argue with me on that if you want. Maybe I'm just a jerk on that issue, but I don't feel like the coach should do that. Secondly, Pee-wee wrestling. You shouldn't be coaching Pee-wee practices. I think it's good to go to 1 or 2. Probably a good idea to go to the youth district tournament. Maybe youth state. A lot of kids don't make it to state, so I think the youth district tournament is best. Make an appearance and maybe speak at their banquet or have them to your banquet, which I think is a tremendous idea. That way you have one big team. Everything is seen as one big, huge team. But you need to have sort of some systems in place so that the coaches at the youth level, the freshman coaches, the JV coaches, they kind of have a technical system that, kind of is interconnected, so that when you start getting kids as freshmen, maybe who've been through the youth program for a couple of years or more, they have these skills, these core skills that you think are necessary. But you shouldn't be at Pee-wee practice coaching all of the practices. You just simply should not. Because remember, you're a teacher. You've got a full-time job. You probably have a wife and kids of your own. You probably have to coach at least one other sport. The men usually have a summer job, so you don't get summers off. And there's just simply nothing wrong with you saying, I'm going to focus my efforts here on the team, and you start to kind of remove yourself from these little, $5 an hour tasks and things that you can get someone else to do because they add up. So you can do like 17 little pesky things and be up till midnight on a Sunday, type in how many takedowns the team got today in the finals. No, you can dump that off on a manager. Let him or her do it and give them something, right? Maybe gift certificates and they want to be a part of the team. If you have I had 13 managers when I was a high school coach. I know it's over the top, but I had kids that quit, and I'm like, I don't want you to quit. What else are you going to do? Well, I just don't like wrestling. Well, you know what? High school sports is about keeping kids involved. Why don't you just be a part of the team? You can be one of our managers. And they're like, okay. And now some of them say, I got a job. I'm like, come in once a week. Some of them filtered off and never came back, but they were always invited. They might show up to a dual meet, but we had a lot of team managers just because I didn't think it was good for these kids to quit because they tried wrestling and they just didn't like it, which is fine. I just feel like the high school wrestling is just about keeping kids busy and being there for them, giving them something to do. And I didn't think it was a good thing for them just to like not do anything. So be a part of the team. And I gave them tasks and things to do, and they were part of the team banquet, and it was cool. They went on the tournaments and stuff with us. But you need to have managers, and you need to just have them do the work. And that's a way not to burn out. Because once you start trying to do it all, you just make a list, then make a list of what needs to be done in the off season, what needs to be done in the summertime. And you say, who can do this stuff for me? These are the things that I need to do myself, or I want to do myself, or I have to do myself. These are the things that I have that other people are doing for me, but that I need to make an appearance and be a part of a little bit, or kind of keep my thumb on the pulse a little bit, manage it. Look at yourself as a CEO, and not just a do-it-all coach. And I think you're going to have a lot more success and be happier and not burn out. And plus, you're going to get to spend time with your own kids. Your kids should be, they're already splitting their time with dad and mom. So you want to take that extra time that you free up and dedicate that to your kids, because, the parents are worried about their son, their daughter. You have 200 students to worry about, the football team and their parents, the wrestling teams and their parents, the Pee Wee team, the JV team, your assistant coaches, and then your kids are home without a dad. And, that's going to happen a little bit in life. We all understand that. But ultimately, you need to put your family first, because you don't want to be burned out and have a divorce and just, have a stressful life, because Lord knows you're not getting paid for all the time and hours that you put in. So some of these things can kind of help. So operate more like a CEO. I think you'll have better success and not burn out. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck.